Hello everybody, Michelle Hemley here from Hemley's Health, Fitness, Sport Development, and welcome to episode 1 of Ask Team Hemley TV, where you can ask any question you like in regards to health, fitness, sport development, sport coaching, active girls, whatever you like, ask away. Our first question today is not one specific question from one person. I would have to say I've probably had about 20 different people ask me variations of this question over the last few weeks alone, and it's concerning taper or tapering off towards a major competition. So more specifically, what is a taper? How long should I taper for? And what are some practical examples you can give me of what I should be doing during a taper? So first of all, what a taper isn't. A taper isn't complete rest. It's not stopping training completely, full stop, for 2 weeks before your event. It is not easy sessions, except if you're talking about the direct 2 to 3 days before your event. What you're actually doing is you're substantially decreasing the volume of your training. So that is how long you were training for or how far you were training in regards to kilometres or distance, but you're keeping the intensity. Okay, so the intensity remains at your race pace or even slightly above, but you get lots of rest as opposed to normal. And instead of a session being an hour and a half, 2 hours, it might only be an hour, 45 minutes, with some intense race-specific work, lots of rest, and usually a high skill focus as well. So you can really have your skills ready to fire and refined for race day. So the idea behind a taper is generally when an athlete is training, they are carrying around some day-to-day residual fatigue in their muscles, so they're never completely fresh. When you're ready to hit a major championship, what you want is your body fully prepped and ready to go, ready to fire, ready to go fast on race day. So you're actually avoiding things like those threshold sets. So for instance, in swimming, those short rest 50 metres, those 400s where we're descending, all of that stuff which really makes your muscles burn and you're actually, you can still feel it the next day. We don't do that style of training during a taper. It's more about freshening you up, getting those fast twitch muscle fibers firing and ready to go. So that's what a taper is. It's reducing the volume of your training as you head towards a major competition. As far as how long a taper should be, that really is individual. So at the moment, I'm dealing with a lot of surf lifesavers in the Team Hemley swimming, running, junior triathlon squads here in Geelong and on the Surf Coast, and they are heading towards their state championships, and for many of them they are continuing on to the Australian championships as well. Now it's a really fine balance when we're dealing with these athletes because most of them are still at school and term 1 is an extremely busy time in regards to their training with our squads, their training with their own club. Most of them are training at school for school carnivals and inter-school carnivals and championships in that regard. A lot of them have school camps, so it really is a fine line in balancing their immune systems as well. So we actually do quite an extended taper with these kids that would be 3 weeks long, gradually getting more and more reduced as time goes by. But we do encourage a lot of rest around this period. We do encouraging skipping a session if needed, if they've got a really heavy workload in regards to school carnivals and extra surf club training and carnivals on the weekend and other competitions. So there's a bit of a balancing act there as well. Generally, a taper is anywhere between 10 and 5 days long, as in 10 or 5 days before your competition. The younger an athlete is, the less taper they need because 1, they recover better, they back up better from day-to-day sessions. They don't have as much muscle mass as an older athlete, so therefore there's not as much fatigue hanging around. And generally speaking, younger athletes do not do enough training to warrant a taper. So when you hear about Olympic athletes tapering off and their taper, they're training 10, 12 times a week often. So when you're at that level of fitness and performance, you do really need a very structured taper. When you're a club athlete and you're, say, swimming twice a week, you don't need such a big taper, okay? The sessions still need to be specific, but as far as it's not such a big drop-off as you would get with one of those high-performance athletes who's training the house down. So as far as what a taper set will look like, so as I gave the example with our Surf Lifesavers, this weekend we have the Lifesaving Victoria Nippers Surf Lifesaving State Championships in Warrnambool. Good luck if that is you. We also have the Seniors Championships coming up at Ocean Grove the week after. And as I said, many competitors hanging around for another 4 or 5 weeks to Aussie titles. A set we did on Tuesday morning this week. So last week was fairly normal. Okay, it was a lot of race pace stuff, but as far as the volume being decreased, not a huge difference to the past few months. Tuesday morning this week, we actually did a very specific taper set. So it was a warm-up of about 800 metres, really slow, really easy, some kicks, some pulls, some drill, all thrown in there just to get all of the different muscle groups working and the blood flowing through the body. And then the main set, we did 450s of overspeed work. So fins on, fast, on 2 minutes. So with a 50 metres, a lot of our swimmers, they'd swim about 30 seconds with their fins on, anywhere between 30 and 38 seconds. So they were getting a really decent 1:20 to 1:30 rest after these 50s, which were slightly above the race pace they would be swimming in their competition. So 450s on 2 minutes, 425s flat out fast on 1 minute. So again, they get a really substantial 45 seconds or so rest. Then we swam 100 metres easy, and then we did that. Some people did it 2 times, some people did it 3 times, depending on what championships they're competing in, what school carnivals they have this week, etc. So that's a little bit of an example of a taper set. So generally, for the last few months when we do 50s, if there's short rest building fitness, we've left on a 50-second cycle or so. We've done some quality threshold work where it's as fast as 50 they can maintain, leaving on 1 minute, so slightly longer rest, but you're going faster. So these were a real increased rest, increased pace, so that we're more towards that race pace style speed with the fins on to get that feeling of going fast, some overspeed work. So that's a little bit of an example of a taper set for you, especially if you are in the pool. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Ask Team Hemley TV. Please feel free to email us through any questions you have. We love to answer anything you've got, and we look forward to answering in future episodes. Don't feel you have to ask me. You can ask other team members. You can ask Liz. You can ask Dale. You can email them through to me, your questions, at michelle@hemleys.com.au, or you can post on our Facebook page, on our Twitter, on our Instagram with the hashtag AskTeamHemley, and we look forward to answering your questions. All right, guys, train smart, train happy, and we look forward to seeing you all soon. See you later.